Hey there everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about wizard skills and when they're at level 99 and what this does for the skills. I'm going to be going into the combos of the various combos that open up with the skills at level 99 in other videos. In this one I'm basically going to be going through the ones which I'm not going to talk about in other videos. I've got a full listing on the forum of my a guide showing all sorry, not being clear. A guide showing the skills of all the classes and what the leveling does, increasing the damage and that kind of stuff. And it goes through all the details there. However, it's nice to see some of them in practice. As well, I wanted to talk about mana consumption. So the first one I'm going to talk about quickly is Archmage. And that is, from levels 10 to 99, all it adds is this health per second effect. It lists to end the game as regen over 100%, so it gives you a full heal over the 15 seconds. And it actually, what's really nice about it is it does it twice per second. So I have that listed here, but yeah, so you've got to put the 4 levels in. It increases the mana cost hugely. Almost all these get huge mana cost when you get into 99, so I'm going to talk about that. But anyway, I'll just show what it's actually like. I'm going to use the frost armor to get a load of damage reduction. And that will mean then we can kind of see the healing a bit better. So I'm going to get hurt a bit now, and now I'm going to put it on. So if you watch it, it's like a quite consistent, solid little heal, which is really nice for if you're, well, I suppose you wouldn't want to use it when you're running away, because when you're in this state you want to be attacking. But yeah, it's very nice for just healing up a little bit, having an extra boost to your heal over time. Because if you're using something like this healing shrine, it's like 40% per second, but which will help you tank up really nicely, and heal up. And so this, on top, is just a sort of extra effect. It lets you tank really nicely. So yeah, it's just a little boost. I would recommend other ones more highly, but certainly it helps out a lot. And the next one I was going to show is polymorph, because it's quite cool now. It goes for 12 seconds. Which they're running towards me strangely. Normally they will run away, and so it's for 12 seconds now. They can't attack you, rather than the 6. It doesn't change anything else other than making the mana costs go up to 120, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, still kind of cool. The main use of this, well, with all these skills, a lot of them have high cooldown, and actually a cooldown potion would really help. In the case of polymorph, what this does is it makes 12-second duration, and with a cooldown potion you've got about 13-second cooldown, so you can actually keep up a constant keep them constantly in polymorph state, which is really cool. And yeah, I'm not sure whether there could be uses for this. I'm going to have to test out properly, but it certainly looks like it could be actually a good way of keeping the small enemies away. I got hit by the suicide enemy there, but anyway, as you can see, I'm actually able to tank quite nicely with these skills, and I'm not really doing anything. There's quite a few enemies, and yeah, so it gives you a good example of what wizards can do now on the tanking front. Right, the next one I'm going to talk about is teleport, which is a really bad one. So going from level 10 to 99, what it does is it adds this effect on top of the teleport. I've got to find it now, sorry. There we go. So it makes the cooldown go from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, which is terrible for the skill. The mana cost goes up as well, but it adds a damage multiplier, which is onto the next hit you do. However, this damage multiplier is literally the next hit. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to show this properly, but yeah, it's literally the single hit. So if you attack with any skill rune, with any skill, with the skill rune equipped, it will be on the basic attack damage rather than the full damage. So if you look there, I hit like 213%, 213,000 with the frost damage, and again when I used it, I'm hitting that much, a little bit over 200,000 every single time I use it, and yes. So hopefully that is proof enough that it's not actually increasing the base damage there. Sorry, it's not actually increasing more than that base damage. It's literally just doing that one hit. So if you use it with mana bolts, it will do it on the first bolt of 58%, and it's not the elemental one. So yeah, in terms of a damage buff, it is terrible. The only use it actually has for it is if you're going to do the teleport in and get the hit from the damage there, but that damage isn't very high compared to other stuff, so to be honest, it doesn't really matter. And the fact that the cooldown goes from 5 to 10 is just terrible. So the next one I want to talk about is Drake damage, because this is a fairly interesting skill here. At 10 out of 99, it's got I'll go to my guide actually. At 10 out of 99, it has 500% pet damage, which goes to 1000 at 99. So unlike most things which quadruple in damage, this one only doubles, and that's quite annoying for a start. But the cooldown goes from 7 to 10, so rather than like doubling this or whatever, that only increases slightly, and that's the only effect of leveling it. If you look at the skill itself, obviously in most cases, well, you're going to be using a skill rune on it, and you'll probably want to level one up, because actually they're quite good. So they add roughly 500% of an element on there, which, if you consider the Drake at 10 out of 99, that will double the damage output. Drakes don't take any of your elemental stats, so you can't boost it with anything, except Master of Ice does boost some of the hits. Not every single hit, but it will boost some of the hits, and so that can be used to triple any water damage. So anyway, what it boils down to is the majority of the damage comes from the skill runes. From adding a skill rune. Okay, let me rephrase. The majority of the extra damage, it'd be better to get it from the skill rune rather than leveling the skill to 99 because of the cooldown increase. Because nothing else changes, you get the same number of attacks, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be your damage output will be roughly 100% 1000% going to 1500, and for a sort of 50% increase on the cooldown as well. It just means that you're not actually increasing your damage output, and you're just decreasing the frequency you can use them, which you kind of want for the defense stuff. Now, archers absolutely hate this skill. They feel like it's like their ballista and decoy in one. It's actually weaker than decoy. It's got a shorter cooldown, but then dies much more easily. And so in practice, if you go to use it to tank, it only gets about 2 or 3 attacks off. You can see that here when I'm using this. And so even if I put it out to the side and stuff and off for a bit, it will do 2 or 3 attacks. I've said previously it attacks once every 2 seconds. It's actually once every 1.5. So it can do, I think, 9 attacks. And it looks like it's about to do a 10th, but then actually it dies just before. So yeah, it can do lots of damage if you tank up and you let it be behind, which I'm going to show now. And if we get my tanking skills on that I had before, I need to stay away from enemies. Okay, yeah, and let's just use Master of Ice as well. Right. So if I set them up behind me now, they can start attacking in, and they will do a fair amount of damage. Pretty much all skills benefit hugely from having a decoy. Having a cooldown potion active. But these do even more so, because the rate they die, they survive about... it's about... what's it called? Sorry, hold on a second. I'm just going to turn on invincibility. It's losing my train of thought too much. So, what was I saying? They survive roughly 5 seconds or so. And so, with the 7-second cooldown, you can't actually keep them out constantly and, keep up constant defense and everything. You need a cooldown potion to do that. And then once you have a cooldown potion, if you're placing them cleverly, you can generally have constant defense up. That's the way this skill works, and decoy, it's they actually, in terms of the defensive properties, they massively benefit from having a cooldown potion active. And, yeah, so... yes, you can keep up constant defense that way, but in terms of the damage, you can't. The way you need to do damage is to be yourself here, like here, tanking, and then I'm actually going to, place them over here, that's probably better. So if you can tank up with other skills, then you can use them as a damage skill on top. And in terms of the damage, at the moment, which I never trust pet damage because it often just goes downhill after they buff it, But yeah, at the moment they do with each attack roughly 4 basic attacks worth of what you're doing, and they can do that up to 10 times. So they do a very nice damage output increase. The only thing is that yeah, you've got to like try and place them off to the side while you're doing other tanking skills and stuff. While you're tanking yourself, and in practice you can't just sit here and tank. You'll need to like move around and stuff. And as you move around, they're going to end up getting in the firing line and dying off. So anyway, the skill itself is very good, and I think it's nicely balanced. It's basically a good wizard skill. It's just not absolutely overpowered or crazy. And in terms of leveling up to 99, I don't think it's much worth it, because you can get the damage output from the skill runes themselves, and then yeah, like you want the shorter cooldown, because even with a cooldown potion, when you're up at 99 out of 99, you can like only just, or maybe not, keep up a constant defense, and so you don't really want to lose that. Now the last one I want to talk about is one which we've seen already, which is the Healing Fountain heal. This goes from 10% to 20% when you get this to 99 out of 99, which is awesome. You can tank with it quite nicely, and yeah, the skill rune as well, which I'm using right now, Healing Shrine, adds on 20%, so it's actually 40% per second, which is yeah, huge amount, and yeah, you can pretty much tank up, as I will show now. So I'm going to get attacked by lots of things. Just wait for them all to spawn, and then we're going to sit and tank in it with nothing else, because before I was using frost armor and other stuff as well, and I want to show exactly how good the tanking is. You can also use Mimic, which I'm not... Oh, why did I use that? I thought I had Fire Blast on that, sorry. Yeah, you can use Mimic as well to do the double Healing Fountain, and then with the skill rune on, that's then 80% per second. So yeah, you can like properly tank up then. And oh yeah, this skill rune also like knocks ones out. So as you can see there were lots of enemies, which is why I took, I took too much damage. But yeah, it does heal you up incredibly fast. Get rid of the suicide enemy. But yeah, whenever you get hurt, you get healed up. You just can't survive one-shots. And so that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm just going to add in that the Frost Armor is quite an interesting one. It goes from a 60% damage reduction to a 75% damage reduction, which means you can take one-shots and all that kind of stuff. It's quite crazily good, and for that reason they had to reduce the cooldown on it, so the duration, from 20 seconds to 10 seconds, which is very annoying, bad for farming, and in general a bit of a nerf, and I would probably go with the 20-second duration. However, it is very good for tanking up, and if you're using a cooldown potion, then you can keep it active almost constantly. So yeah, like with a lot of the other skills at 99.99, the cooldown, a cooldown potion is really necessary in order to use them. Now, one last word, which I forgot about, which is why I was saying that I was done, is the mana cost on things. So the mana cost on things goes up by quite a lot, and wizards do have the way to bypass it with Master of Ice. But actually, if you're going ahead to like use different skills and stuff, and I'm dying off now. But yeah, if you're going ahead and using different skills, you'll find your mana goes down really, really rapidly. I found, you see here I've got 1,500. That's probably a nice figure. About 1,500 is what you need in order to use all skills at 99.99. But currently, because loads of damage skills you want to keep lower anyway, you can survive probably with like somewhere between 600 plus mana, and then you can have the defensive ones up. And then yeah, just make sure you use Archmage a lot. I think it'll be pretty standard now to like always buff up with this right at the start of a tournament or event or whatever. But yeah, if you go on in the fight for a long time, you'll probably need a lot more mana, and you'll need to use consumables and stuff. But yeah, I found 1,000 plus, 1,500 is great, and then you can play with these skills. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.